Welcome to Be Brighter. I want to discuss the border security bill that the Democrats were trying to get passed. I'm glad that the Republicans shut it down. This bill, I'm happy to say, was dead on arrival because the one thing it did not do was live up to its title, which is secure the border. Let's take a look at what the bill actually had in it. I will give the Democrats one thing. They're very good at using the English language to gaslight the American citizens that live here. They call a bill border security bill, but the substance does not secure the border. But many people, because they're just lazy, they hear, oh, the Democrats have this great plan. They have a border security bill, but the Republicans shut it down. Don't get fooled. This narrative is just so gross because they use the English language to literally gaslight people. But people have to understand, don't just get fooled by the pretty title. You need to look at the substance of this bill. And this is what I want to talk about today. Let's take a look at the substance of this bill and why it was awful. And obviously, the Democrats now want to use the talking point that Republicans shut down the border security bill, and that's all they want to say. But let's take a look at why, thankfully, the Republicans shut down this stupid piece of legislation. First of all, currently, I think there's about 300,000 illegals invading our country per month. That's not a year, which would even be awful if it was a year, but it's per month. This bill, if it would have passed, thankfully it was not passed, but if it did pass, it would have reduced the amount of illegals from 300,000 per month to 150,000 illegals entering this country per month. Again, we don't know who these people are. There's no proper vetting. In fact, you know how this goes. The 150,000 that was going to be allowed to enter into this country doing God knows what was given probably a credit card, free health care, place to stay, the usual Biden crazy business. Anyway, that's why the Republicans tanked this bill. I know that there was I call them just feckless Republicans, rhinos, whatever you want to call it, people that are just true globalists at heart. They were supportive of this with the Democrats because they said, hey, it's better than nothing. Well, let's be honest. So you're going to say, let's secure the border and still have 150,000 illegals invading our country with the same feckless policies that doesn't have proper vetting of these people. We don't know what their objectives are when they're here. We know that we see what's going on. Again, human trafficking, drugs, more drugs, rape, homicide, assaults, God knows what. Anyway, this is ridiculous. The Biden administration knows this. If they wanted to, if the Biden administration wanted to fix the border and secure it, they would have done it already. They do not want to do so. Let me repeat, all the Biden administration wanted to do, if they wanted to fix the border, they would have already, but they are never going to do so because they would have to admit that they were absolutely wrong. And they would have to admit that their whole plan all along was to open the border, have a porous border, and have a bunch of illegals who we don't know that are eventually, because they're going to get free health care, free everything, no consequence of the illegal actions they're committing, they're going to become Democratic voters. This is their plan. Or they're going to set up to just turn against the American citizens when the Bidens or whoever, or the Obamas, I don't know, you do the math, click their finger. This is ridiculous, okay? Because I know many of you are like, well, I don't understand. Why is the border such a problem? The border is such a problem because the Democrats just reversed all of President Trump's executive orders that effectively secured the border. Joe Biden inherited the lowest volume of illegals entering into this country in over 45 years because of the effective executive orders that President Trump implemented. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what an executive order actually does and the authority that it can be used and why it is such a wonderful tool for a president to actually implement policy right away without needing congressional support. So President Trump, obviously, as we know, poor man's being attacked. I think he has potentially every lawsuit thrown at him under the sun. This is just ridiculous. I think it's kind of funny, actually, that the Democrats keep charging after him for everything that they're projecting, everything that they're guilty of, they charge President Trump with. Let's be real. If he was guilty of anything at this point, they would have found it years ago. They have to make up every false charge against him. But with that being said, because when President Trump took over, there was people in the inside that were against him, on the outside, every side, DC. We saw the whole crazy circus against our president. But why was he so effective? Because he used a tool called the executive order. Now, what the executive order does is it allows a U.S. president to take administrative action where the management of the government can be done according to what the president sees as his vision without needing congressional support or even going to the Supreme Court. Obviously, this is how President Trump was so effective. He executed over 200 executive orders because he had to change all of Obama's feckless policies. And these executive orders, obviously, primarily the most popular ones, were to secure the border. He did this effectively by having strict catch and deport policies, remain in Mexico policies, and obviously building the border wall, continuing and making that happen, as well as effective travel bans. We look what's happening today. None of that is happening because Joe Biden, the minute he got into that Oval Office, reversed all of those executive orders. So to answer your question, can the Democrats and the Biden administration secure the border? The absolute answer is yes. But if you ask me, will they? Never. They're not going to. They'd have to admit what they are doing is completely wrong. It's against the will of the American people. So they're trying to gaslight everybody by claiming, look, the Republicans won't pass this pathetic border security bill. Again, gaslighting by the title, but the border security bill doesn't secure the border. To fix it, we just need to reverse all of the things that Biden is doing, and he can, with the sign of his signature on a piece of paper, have that legislation actually reinstate all of President Trump's policies. Do you think that's ever going to happen with this administration? No. So you know how to effectively secure the border? Do you want it fixed? Do you want to feel safer? Does America need to be stronger? Do you want to be more prosperous? We need to kick Joe Biden to the curb, and whoever is going to be the candidate, I don't think it's going to be Joe Biden, but whoever it is, it cannot be him or anybody else who's going to be a Democratic contender or any other independent or Nikki Haley, the fake rhino. We have to vote for Donald Trump, and I hope you join me.